And our top focus at this hour, here's a report that has come in. As US strives to close out a deal to end the war in Ukraine, a Bloomberg report has made startling claims on how this entire plan originated. Now, it appears to point to the origins of a Trump-endorsed 28-point proposal that was widely seen as favoring Moscow, requiring Ukraine to make significant territorial concessions and pledge not to join NATO, which were core Russian demands. Now, as per this report, it states that US envoy Steve Witkoff, who's been at the helm of these negotiations, he advised a senior Kremlin official on how President Vladimir Putin should present a proposal to his US counterpart Donald Trump. The global media company, it published the transcript of the discussion between Witkoff and Yuri Ushakov. Yuri Ushakov is Putin's foreign policy advisor. After reviewing what it claims was a recording of a phone call between Steve Witkoff and Ushakov. Now, it, however, gave no indication on how this recording was acquired. According to the transcript of this call, during that phone call that took place on the 14th of October, and mind you, this is just days after the ceasefire plan, the 20-point plan for Gaza was announced and put into effect. 14th of October, they had a phone call. And he believes that Russia has always wanted a peace deal. This is Steve Witkoff speaking, and that he has the deepest respect for President Putin. The US envoy then advised Ushakov that Putin should flatter Donald Trump during a call scheduled for 2 days later. Complimenting him, that means Putin should be complimenting Trump, and then over the recently concluded Gaza ceasefire. He asked him to tell Trump that he respects him as a man of peace and that he's glad to have seen the ceasefire happen. Witkoff also suggested to Ushakov, he suggested the creation of a 20-point peace plan for Ukraine, similar to the one which was put out for Gaza, and urged that Putin should bring it up with Trump. Now, this phone call between Trump and Putin took place on the 16th of October, with the US president describing it as very productive, and subsequently even questioning Kyiv's push for Tomahawk missiles just a day before hosting Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky at the White House. Mind you, all through those days leading up to that meeting between Zelensky and Trump, Trump had suggested that he is considering sending those Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine, which would have been a major escalation as far as Russia is concerned. Now, this plan has since been replaced by one taking in more of Ukraine's interests. Now I'm referring to the 28-point plan for the Russia-Ukraine war. After getting a nod from Russia, it went to Geneva, where talks were held, and there were changes which were made, keeping Ukraine's interests in mind. Witkoff is now scheduled to travel to Moscow next week to discuss this new version of the plan with Putin. Witkoff, who is the US Special Envoy to West Asia, is taking greater roles amid reports that US Special Envoy to Ukraine, initially he was Keith Kellogg, who's now, as per reports, scheduled to leave his post in January. Speaking to reporters on Tuesday, Trump said that he hadn't heard the tape of the call between Witkoff and Ushakov, but called it a very standard form of negotiation. When asked if he's concerned Witkoff is too pro-Russian, Donald Trump addressed the human cost of the war in his response.
This war could go on for years, and Russia's got a lot more people, a lot more soldiers, So I think if Ukraine can make a deal, it's a good thing. I think it's great for both. Frankly, I think it's great for both.
While Witkoff hasn't commented on the issue, Ushakov called the alleged leak an attempt to hinder the search of peace in Ukraine. He admitted speaking to Witkoff a lot, but said the conversations are not public.